Hello, so today is Monday, September 22nd. It is currently 3:44 p.m. And before I start anything, let's do the intro. Hello, my name is Manuel Gonzalez. I am a newly PhD student here at Wayne State University in Detroit, Michigan. And if you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, thanks for coming back. Now that we got off with that little terrible intro that I just did, I sat down and now I am finalizing my grades for project number 1 for Wayne students. But brother, I'm tired. I'm like that one meme or whatever. I'm tired, granddad. He's like, too damn bad, boy. Anyhow, right now I'm grading. I'm looking at the papers that my students presented to me and turned into me, and honestly, majority of them are pretty good. Like, so far, I've graded a couple of them, and all of them are doing wonderful. So I kind of sort of have high expectations for everybody else while I'm like grading them, but as a student, I have to do a weekly reflection that I have to finalize before Wednesday, I believe, and it's currently Monday. It's gonna be a busy week. I'm trying to figure my thoughts, bro, but I just can't. I'm like, my brain or my whole scenario right now is that one foot is outside of my bed and the other foot is on the inside of my bed. Like, I want to go to sleep right now. But it's like, what time is it? It's 3:48 right now. There's no way I'm gonna go to sleep. Assuming that I even remotely believe that I'm gonna go to sleep, I'll probably end up waking up like at midnight or something. And then what am I gonna do? I literally have to be up until like 1 p.m. or whatever to go teach. There's no way. There's just no. I'm not doing this to myself. So I'm just gonna ride the wave of fatigueness until, I don't know, like 8 or 9 p.m. and then just knock out and then see what happens. But I'm trying real hard so I can finish these essays that I'm grading. And hello, so today is Tuesday, September 23rd. It is currently 4:47 p.m. and I am currently in Wayne State University. I'm in the copy machine room, but that's besides the point. I haven't recorded at all today for a couple of reasons. One is because I just woke up, got out of bed, I ate, etc., and then I ended up driving my butt to come to Wayne and teach. So I went into my class, I did my lecture, everything was fine and dandy. Students are very happy with their grade. We talked about their grade and the feedback, and did they approve how I gave the feedback? And a lot of students were like, yeah, I do approve and whatever. And so they were happy on that aspect. We talked about project number 2, how to evaluate it, how to see it, what they have to do, what they have to talk about. And we kind of talked about, as a class, we kind of made an outline on how they should approach essay number 2 or project number 2. Now, obviously, the outline is like a recommendation. It's not like Bible or whatever you want to call it, where they have to do it or else they're going to get an F. They can modify or fix it however they want, but that's their prerogative, right? And so that was that. After that, I immediately left class to go to my class as a student, which is my practicum class, where they like teach you how to teach that class that I just taught. And so that was that. The one thing that class kind of serves is like we all give each other like tips and tricks on how to like teach properly, what we should do better, what we should do different, etc. And then obviously it also kind of serves as like a therapy session, because everybody there is either a first year student that is teaching the class, so like day 1, semester 1, etc. teaching. And so some students use it as a therapy session where they're like, oh, I'm behind, or I feel stressed out because I don't know if I'm doing this right, etc. And, I just want to say on that context that everybody understands how to handle their situation differently, and everybody stresses themselves out differently. But I also want to say that I wanted to that I came into this school knowing that, like, yes, I've taught before, but obviously every single school has different SLOs or student learning outcomes. And so I knew that for the first semester, as in like the one I'm currently in, I was going to struggle and I was going to like suffer because I was going to plan everything. I got to situate myself. I got to know how to do this and that. So I knew that the first semester I was going to be like dying, right? But I was using that context to tell myself, like, hey, like after the first semester, you're going to be fine because you're going to have everything planned. You're going to know what you're doing, et cetera, et cetera. So you should be cash money when it comes to the next 4 or 5 years, right? And so that's how I saw myself. But I guess not everybody has that mentality. And so some people are crashing out in some ways, and then some people are crashing out in other ways. And I understand, but I just don't know how to tell somebody that everything is going to be okay. And then I feel like when I open my mouth, sometimes I come off as kind of rude or condescending. And so I just feel like I really want to help that person be happy or smile, but at the same time, the way that I do it seems kind of bad. So I don't know. So update. It is currently 6:49 p.m. and we're finally leaving Wayne, as you can see from the building behind me, and we are going to our car. But the one thing that's happening right now is that me and Josh are gonna go out to eat. We are going to this restaurant called uh, Basan, which is like a Japanese American restaurant. So we're gonna go try it out. We're gonna see if we like it or not. It looks okay. It looks good. So we'll see. Overall, the day was pretty productive. I did manage to turn in my weekly discussion post for my composition theory class. I managed to do everything that I needed to do for my technical writing class, which is tomorrow. And so now I'm just here, I guess. And since I graded all my assignments for my classes, I feel like I'm on top of the world right now. So that's nice. Hello, good morning. Today is Wednesday, September 24th. It is currently 10:55 a.m. and I am on my way to teach at Oakland Community College. But the funny thing is that today is a rainy day here. So kind of cool. It's not that bad. It's not like cold or it's not like super bad, but I am wearing layers just because I don't want to end up not wearing the layers and then ending up having to need the layers. So better to have them than to need them than to not have them and need them, or whatever the saying is. So one of the things that had happened last night was that I didn't end up recording that much last night, given that there was a lot happening last night. So I don't know if I had mentioned this, but a couple days ago, I was going through it because of the fact that in my house I had found out that I had mice. Well, first and foremost, I thought it was just one mouse. And so eventually I caught the mouse and everything was fine and dandy on that end. So I was like, all right, cool. I caught the problem, everything is cool, etc., etc., etc. When that happened, before I went to California or to San Diego or whatever you want to call it, I ended up wiping down all my stuff. Like I ended up not leaving anything behind. I wiped it down, I disinfected it, everything was fine and dandy on that end. And so I was like, okay, cool, like I don't have to worry about it because I'm done. I don't have more mice or whatever. And so that was my mentality going into the whole situation. And then I kind of find out that once I come back from my trip to San Diego, that I see little like pellets or droplets of like dookie basically on my countertops that I knew that I disinfected and wiped down. And that's when I was like, oh no, like please no. And so I kind of find out with that alone that I have more mice or whatever. So I ended up I still left like the plethora of like mouse traps that I had originally set. And so when I did that, I messaged my landlord and I was like, hey, just to let you know that like this had happened and blah, blah. So everything I just told you guys, I ended up telling my landlord. And then I was like, just, you know, general FYI on that situation, whatever, blah, blah. And so I guess she kind of panicked and she was like, oh, like, we'll handle that. Or like, we'll talk about it in general, whatever. And so the husband ended up coming to my house and he ended up setting up some traps and etc. Last night I was out and about late because I was doing like school stuff. And so when I did that, eventually I came home to my house and then I heard something and I was like, oh man. So it turns out that one of the traps that he ended up putting, the mouse like hit it or, you know, activated it or whatever you want to call it. And so I texted them back and I was like, hey, just to let you know, one of your traps like ended up catching one of the mice. And he was like, oh, damn, like, you know, I'm on my way. This was like already like 10 p.m. He's like, I'm on my way. I'll throw it away. Don't worry about it. Don't even touch it. Don't even anything, blah, blah. And so I was like, oh, okay, like cool or whatever you want to call it. So he ended up doing that. And when he came, he was like, oh, well, did you check the other ones? And I was like, what? I thought there was only like the ones that I saw in the vicinity that I had placed and whatnot. And so he was like, oh, let me check the ones that I placed. And so he ended up checking them. There was one to the side of the fridge that he had placed. And it turns out that there was one there. So he like captured one. And then he was like, oh, I put one in the closet. Let me go check if there's stuff in the closet. And then he opens that and then he was like, oh, damn, like there's another one in here. And so at this point, I'm like turning pale because I did not anticipate that. And upon that whole scenario, he was like, you know what, I'm going to go call my wife and we're going to settle this whole situation, right? Eventually the wife calls me. She's like, you know what, like tomorrow, as in like today, we're gonna send out somebody to go figure it out, blah, blah. And then we'll see what's up. And so that is today. And I don't really know. So honestly, I'm currently going through it to some extent, but not really. I understand the situation. It's not their fault. It's not like they placed the mice in the house, you know what I mean? And I do see that they're actually trying to fix the problem. So I'm not that type of a tenant where I'm like, or whatever, but they were very apologetic and they're like going through it right now. And so I'm not trying to be that guy. So I appreciate their effort and I appreciate them trying. So there's that. So update, it is currently 8:23 p.m. and I'm finally out of my class, my technical communications class. And I am currently on my way to walk into the car. Today was a busy day, kind of, sort of. Like I said, we're leaving at 8:30 p.m. And so we're on our way home right now. Well, I'm on my way to my car and then I'm going home. But besides that, tomorrow is going to be another long day where I am going to have to be here early in the morning, like at around 10:30. I have to already be here, so I have to wake up like at 8 or something like that, get ready, etc., because at 10:30 I have to meet with my advisor to we have to formulate a plan to like kind of keep me in structure and not deviate from anything. We want to do that system where we're gonna meet every 2 weeks just to talk. I guess just to do a advisor to student relationship kind of aesthetic. So there's that. And then on top of that, afterwards I have to like just mingle and linger around because like at 1 o'clock I teach my class at Wayne State. And so there's that. And then afterwards I have to very much linger because I have to go teach at Oakland Community College and I have to teach for the longest amount of time. And so tomorrow is going to be another late night session where I'm out and about until like 9:45 p.m. And so I don't know, I'm kind of over it, or I'm kind of tired, whatever. And so then I thought, I was like, oh, like then afterwards I'm done, right? I don't have to do anything. But I forgot that on Friday we have faculty meetings. So we have to come and talk about faculty stuff, about the university and how we're teaching and yada yada and blah blah. And so I have to be up early to go do those faculty meetings and be on board with that. But my thought was like, oh, like I don't have anything else to do. Like, thank God I can just like be lazy and not do anything. But my friend Josh was like, did you forget we have the faculty meeting? And I was like, oh, brother. And so I kind of want to chill, or I kind of want to relax, but I can't now that I have big boy responsibilities. But it's kind of fun. Hello, so today is Thursday, September 25th. It is currently 3:29 p.m. and Jesus, has it been a morning? It's been a morning, it's been an afternoon, it's been everything. And honestly, it's expected, especially because now that I'm teaching at Oakland Community College for the night shift thing, whatever, the night class, I know that I'm going to be like all over the place. So that was that. Also, the thing that kind of made it more like more intense today was that today was the first time ever that I met with my PhD advisor, Dr. Prishnik. And so I met with him and we talked. It's all about talking in the sense of like, how's everything going on and how are you doing as a person, as a teacher, as a student, as everything, and blah, blah, blah. And so I guess it was like a general check-in, especially because right now I'm not doing anything in the sense of like the PhD student side. So I did tell him, I was like, in the normal side, like it's fun because like I'm going out, I'm experiencing Michigan or like Detroit, I'm like finding new restaurants, and then my friend Josh has been like taking me to places and et cetera, et cetera. So there's that in terms of being fun. I told him that on the adult side though, it kind of sucked because like I have to transfer my gas and electric and stuff like that, and then I have to do my insurance for my car, and then my this and that and blah blah. So all the tedious little adult stuff was like annoying to deal with. So there was that. I told him that in terms of the teacher as a professor at the university, that it's fun because of the fact that I'm meeting brand new students, I'm meeting everybody, and and getting to know them and joking around and haha he he's everywhere. And that also it helps because of the fact that most of my students are very vocal. They're very engaging and they actually contribute to the class. So that's wonderful. It's not just crickets. And so there's that. But then I did tell them that as a student that honestly, like, I know it's barely been 5 weeks, but I told him like in his face that it was pretty boring and that I was pretty bored as a student. But I also made my argument that I personally believe that it was boring because I've never taken like a gap year. I've never left school, period. And because of that, I'm not like the stereotypical student that's like struggling because of the fact that they've taken a gap year or they've taken like a career change where they've been working for like 10 years and all of a sudden they come back to get their PhD. Like I didn't do that. So all I know is school to some extent, school and teaching. And so that's why I'm not getting hit that hard, or at least I think that it's boring. And so I told him that it kind of feels like a year 4 of the MFA program where I'm basically doing the same thing I did for the MFA. Going to my classes whenever I need to go. Teaching my classes whenever I got to teach them, and then I show phase with my advisor every 2 weeks, like how I did at STSU, and then just go home and like rinse and repeat for like the rest of the year, I guess. So I told him that I understand that for the first year it's going to be like that, and then afterwards it's going to be the real PhD side where I'm just doing my QEs, my qualifying exams, and I have to be an actual student, and then at some point I have to be an actual teacher and yada yada, or an actual like PhD student researching and blah blah. So I told him that like yes, to some extent I'm complaining because it is boring, but also to another extent I'm not taking it for granted because of the fact that like I know once I start doing my actual big boy activities that I'm gonna like wish I had this like boringness. So it's whatever. Honestly speaking, like as far as I know, the meetings are to be set for every 2 weeks, but I don't know. I just really enjoyed talking to the guy, so I kind of wish it was like every week. But I do understand that he's busy. He's like very busy. So I'm not gonna be that guy. So I guess the next time we talk is gonna be in 2 weeks from now, and we're gonna do the same exact thing. I'm assuming, but it's so good. After that, I kind of killed time for a little bit, and then I ended up going to teach my class. That thing was hilarious. Today's lecture was so funny because I just bullied the hell out of my students. Um, One of my students messaged me and they were freaking out because they have another class. I think it's a communications class, or I don't know what other class they have. But essentially, the teacher's strict um, when it comes to MLA format. And then he was like, hey, like, I don't know MLA. I don't know anything about MLA. Can you please, for the love of God, teach it in the class tomorrow? Because he was messaging me on Wednesday. And so today, Thursday, I teach it. And so I was like, yeah, sure, for sure. But tell me why I get to the classroom and I was like, hey, like on Sunday, you guys turn in your 2 pages for your second paper and you have to like be ready for that. How are we feeling about the paper? And literally like half of the classroom's hands shot up and everybody was like, I'm panicking. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I don't know this. I don't know that. And so I was like, whoa, what is happening? And so upon figuring out what they think, what they thought, et cetera, I managed to clear the water on that. So now they feel a lot more comfortable than how they were feeling originally. So thank God on that. But for a second, I was like, what the hell just happened? And so I was kind of panicking. But one of the things that I love about myself is that I know how to improvise and I know how to do improv and I know how to like just think on the spot. And so that helped so much in this situation. Then afterwards, at some point, I was like, all right, well, we're done with this, right? So let's go into the MLA. Oh my God, this is where it got funny because tell me why these students did not know. Well, they know some of it, like, you know, like the 12-point font, Times New Roman, 1-inch margins, like the stereotypical thing, but nobody knew like how to access the header and the footer so you can put like the page number on the corresponding document. They didn't know about how to click the button to double space the whole thing. And they didn't know that they had to indent their works cited. And they didn't know that it had to be in alphabetical order, like their works cited page. And they didn't basically know anything. And I was like, what did you guys learn in high school? Like, what's happening? And so we were laughing, we were making jokes, everybody was bullying each other, and it was phenomenal. But the thing that was funny is that in my crash outs, they were just like, we don't know, like, we're sorry. And so it was just good. It was a good time. Eventually, yes, I did teach him how to go about it. I did teach him how to do MLA. Hopefully, they were taking a bunch of notes, like if I was trying to discover the cure for cancer. And so that was cool. And so hopefully they implement it because at some point we are going to be using MLA to the extremity of it. And I am going to be strict about it. And so right now we're kind of like in the playground. We're not really focusing that much on stuff like that. But at some point they are. Good morning. So today is Friday, September 26th. It is currently 9:46 a.m. and I am on my way to the Composition Learning Committee, I believe that is called. It's abbreviated CLC. And it is a conference meeting that I believe we have every 2 weeks or every 4 weeks, I'm not sure, where we like sit down with our corresponding group of people, of like faculty and I believe adjuncts and stuff like that. So everybody huddles and we talk about the classes that we are predominantly teaching. So 10, 20, 30, 10, and et cetera, et cetera. And we try to make them better. We learn, adapt, and implement, and all that jazz. So that starts at 11. It is currently almost 10. But before all that funness happens, I am supposed to be meeting with a faculty member because he is going to be doing my, I don't know what's it called, my review or my observation for my classes. And so prior to that, we have a pre-meeting where we talk about it, or where he's gonna assess and all that fun stuff. And then we have
we have the observation, and then afterwards we have another meeting for closure, I guess. I don't know. So I'm gonna meet him. I don't know if I'm gonna meet him right now because yesterday was so busy that I didn't even get to reply to his email where he was like, "You want to meet before or after the meeting?" And it kind of just, um, I guess I didn't ignore him, but I didn't get the time to reply to him. Anyhow, that's besides the point. Last night was pretty fun in regards to the class that I taught at Oakland Community College. I didn't get to say anything last night because I was just tired.
So, update. It is currently 6:15 p.m. and I had a faculty meeting. I was able to join through Zoom. We discussed the program in itself, like the whole English department programs with all avenues, such as like the creative writing side, the literature side, the et cetera, my side, blah, blah. We talked about undergraduates. We talked about budget cuts, budget implementation, and all that shebang. Basically, the behind the scenes or the behind the doors or whatever you want to call it for faculty members. And that was really interesting and really cool to experience because you get to see and hear about everything. And so there's that. Upon that whole thing, I don't know if I talked about this already or not, but over the last couple days, so let me put it like this. I understand that the whole point of the first year of a PhD student is to try to find your identity. I get that. But me being me and me trying to like solve everything and find the cure for cancer in a matter of like 20 seconds, I am trying to expedite that process. And I'm asking myself, like, who am I and what am I for this PhD? At some point, I'm going to have to plan a proposal, my dissertation, etc., and I need to focus on something. So, what am I going to focus on? I'm pretty sure I already talked about this, but my issue is that I start somewhere. So, let's say I want to start in generative AI and post secondary education. That's essentially my main umbrella branch. I want to see how I can implement AI into universities and into college and be a-okay. I primarily want to factor that into first year writing or like high school going into college writing, and so that's that. But upon reading and upon doing research and upon doing yada yada, I find different things or different avenues on how I want to go about this. One of those avenues is like, or do I want to worry about pedagogy or do I want to worry about rhetorical theory? And then upon figuring all that stuff out, I'm like, oh, what about risk assessment? What about the ethics of this? What about A, B, and C? And then upon reading those, I end up finding out like the terminology of like gamification or gamification. That's essentially turning everything into a video game in real life. So it's kind of like a reward system. Like if you do 10 chores, you get like a golden star. You know what I mean? You go and take yourself to buy a Starbucks because you make it a game. So it's like a fun thing. So it's like, can I apply gamification into AI and into the writing setting or rhetoric and writing? And then if so, like how do I do it? And that. Or what about the risk assessment of like gamification in AI in rhetoric and writing? And so like the loop is just going. No, I also have a background in creative writing, such as like my MFA. So how can I implement that? Can I implement it? So I'm like biting way too much, like way more than I can chew, I'm assuming. And so I'm going down these rabbit holes and trying to find my identity, trying to find what essentially is going to be my claim or my argument or my like question that I'm going to be focusing 4 years of my life to like try to become an expert in or whatever, you know what I mean? And so I don't have it. And over the course of like a year and a half, I've been gathering all these notes, all these conversations that I've been having with ChatGPT on my own, where I'm like telling it, hey, like this is what I'm thinking, this is what I'm playing with, this is how I'm playful, etc., etc. What do you think about this? What do you think about that? So I gathered a plethora amounts of conversations with ChatGPT where I've like saved them and all that. Upon those plethora of things, sometimes the thought process comes into my mind and I add it to my notepad or whatever you call it. And I've been compiling those notepads entries into a big document where I'm like, well, this is where I'm trying to point this and that, blah, blah, da, da, da. So at this point, now that I actually have sat down and I have like, okay, well, let me try to figure out my identity, not necessarily because of my PhD, but because at some point I actually want to make a video on YouTube and talk about, well, like, who the hell am I, or what am I doing, or and try to lead you into this process. So I need to have some sort of structure. I can't just come up to a video and be like, and just freeze. So I'm trying to figure that out. And so upon trying to figure it out, gather all my notes, gathering everything, it is like an endless pool of like information. It's like when you have a bowl of like food and you keep eating, eating, and eating, and it never goes down. That's essentially how it feels. And I'm drowning. I'm literally drowning on all this information and all these possibilities and all this and all that and all like discovery and blah, blah. And it's fun. Don't get me wrong. It's enjoyable having to like look at different segues where I can interpret this information in. But I'm drowning because I just don't know when to stop. Like, sure, today I found about gamification, tomorrow about risk assessment, tomorrow about rhetorical theory, tomorrow about rhetorical practice and pedagogy or whatever. And so, like, not only do I find that rabbit hole, but within that rabbit hole, there's other rabbit holes. And so it's just like, holy hell, right? And so I kind of just sighed, like how I did right now. And I gathered all my documents, gathered this like big like I don't know, venting document where I just confess my whole sins to ChatGPT about how I want to go about this, or like and I basically said, you know what, buddy, like here's everything that I'm currently drowning with, information wise, document wise, note wise. Look at all those, then look back of all the memories we have had together where I'm like talking to you about this and venting to you about this, and help a brother out, like, because I can't do it. This is too much. It's like an endless rabbit hole and I'm drowning, so please help me out. I haven't looked into that chat, honestly. I'm kind of tired right now, and so I'm trying to see. Now I do understand that this like a year process. Like this is a year, probably like a year and a half, if not like 2 years before I even dive into what is going to be my main purpose in this PhD. What am I going to be studying for so long to eventually be called a doctor in? And I get that. But my logic is like, whether I freak out right now or I freak out 2 years from now, it's gonna happen. So like, might as well do it now, I guess. I don't know. While I'm still young or young, and so there's that. Um, don't get me wrong. I'm having like a mild crash out right now to some extent, but I'm enjoying this because it means I'm excited to like venture into like the endless amount of possibilities of where I can do my research. So this is wonderful. But I'm not saying I'm not crashing out, but like, I'm still it's still happening. But it's a valid slash positive slash happy crash out because it's just exciting. But it does kind of suck because I do want to have like an identity or like structure or like an outline or an organization concepts or something. You know what I mean? So like, yeah, it's actually pretty cool. This is getting you to like look into my life, even though like as a PhD student. So I don't know. Right now, I'm going to turn off my computer, separate myself. Well, I'm not going to separate anything because I'm going to turn off my computer, go to bed, and like bed rot. But while I'm bed rotting, I'm going to look into that reply and see what the hell is going on. So I guess I'm going to crash out on my bed now. So. Hello. So today is Saturday, September 27. It is currently 8:19 in the morning, and we have been kind of productive. I woke up early in the morning. I woke up like around 4 a.m. or like 5 a.m. And so I prepped myself some coffee, and I did some fruit. I prepped some grapes and some blueberries. Oh my god, I don't know why I can't think. I guess I'm like hitting a rock bottom. There you go, I guess. My brain is like trying to. My mouth is moving faster than my brain, and I guess that's understandable, but damn. Anyhow, I prepped myself some coffee, some fruit, etc., etc. That was like my breakfast, and that's cool and all. I had like some granola bars or whatever, some Quaker bars, And so now I'm gonna be doing that, putting that away and washing some dishes so we can get that going. After that, I'm gonna prep some veggies and whatnot, so there's that. So update, it is currently 11:54 a.m. and I came to my office, I called my mom, I was talking to my mom and I just got done talking to my mom. And so I came to my office, I did what I had to do in terms of like organization, whatever, blah, blah. And then I started to eat. I ended up cooking this, like, I don't know. It's like, I don't want to say it's jambalaya because it's not jambalaya, but it's a rice bowl. So it's like a fusion of like Chinese food with like, I don't know, Manny style or American style. I don't know. Uh, right now, in terms of like, besides that whole tweaking sequence, um, I managed to like, I don't know, gather my thoughts and then start compiling uh, a document, a Google Doc on my computer about like my PhD like identity. And right now I'm like gathering all the notes that I have done like in the future, in the past, of like what I think I'm gonna be doing, what I think I want to do, etc., etc. And I'm like kind of sort of compiling them all and condensing it all into one Google Doc because I have like 20 Google Docs basically. Afterwards, technically, I have to do laundry, and technically speaking, I should clean my like living room and stuff because of all the boxes everywhere. Um, but I have not done that. On the other hand, though, it does look relatively nicer though. I don't know. Oh yeah, I did show that I have like a kitchen table and stuff. I don't even know anymore, brother. So yeah, like these are, I have to organize them even more intensely, but those are like boxes that are probably gonna go to the attic. Finally got hangers, so I started to hang my stuff. That those are all my books, so like when I get a bookshelf, like they'll go immediately on there. Again, those are totes that I'm like organizing to like have random stuff. I bought those like QR codes on the back of the box so I can identify what's in the box through an app and stuff like that. And so yeah, it's a lot cleaner, a lot cleaner. Hello. Today is Sunday, September 28th. It is currently 6:45 a.m. And the only reason why I'm recording this video is I feel like sometimes when I tell you guys like, oh, I'm up at 5, oh, I'm up at 4, oh, I'm up at 5 or 6 or 7 or early morning, like super early mornings, people think I'm joking. Or maybe they're just saying like, oh no, like he's not. He's just saying that so he can sound productive. No, I'm up. Last night I went to bed at like around 2 a.m. So there's a lot that happened. Not in a bad way, but like in an all over the place way. I was very productive yesterday, thank God, and I did a lot. Among those things that I did was my readings for composition theory and um, some concept reading for technological writing. I forgot what's it called, the class. And so today I didn't get a chance to like write the, I don't know what they're called, like the weekly reading post or whatever, the discussion board. And so I'm gonna be doing that right now for both of those classes. And then that's basically it. Like that's basically it in terms of like productiveness in today. But yesterday I did that. I managed to formulate some thought processes about um, composition theory. I got some notes down on like one of the articles that we read, which is pretty cool. Honestly speaking, like the articles that we read this particular week were pretty good. And so, yeah, after that, when I was reading, at some point I messaged my friends and I was like, hey, like, finally I have a chance to breathe. And I know that I haven't been playing with you guys video games, so I haven't been on, I haven't said hi, etc., etc. Do you guys want to play a video game? And so we ended up playing Apex Legends for the rest of the night, or a big chunk of it. So eventually I went to bed like at around 12:30, 1 a.m. But then I bed rotted in my bed for a hot minute, and then it's 2 o'clock, and then I went to bed, and then I woke up at 6. Prepped myself a coffee, prepped myself a food, and here we are grinding again. Now, if you ask yourself, why are you up so early? I don't know.
I'm the person who I believe is the most productive when it comes to early mornings. I think once the night is like the day is going and like the middle of the day happens and then like the heat kicks in, all those play a factor into like me being um, productive or not. So I don't know. So
Update, it is currently 2:22 p.m. I know that the last time that I even anything, I think it was at the beginning of the morning, so it was like, I don't even remember what time it was. It was like 6:30 where I initiated the video. Um, so first and foremost, I did a lot in the span of that morning drive or whatever. I ended up doing my weekly discussion board post for my advisor, Dr. Jeff Prushnick's class of composition theory. I managed to look into Dr. Ola Oladipo's technological writing class, and I did his readings as well. And I managed to figure out like one of his assignments, and I finished the assignment and all that fun stuff. Um, the guy is like a night owl, so like majority of the day, if not the entire day, he's either sleeping or like I don't know what he's doing, and so he usually posts all his stuff at night. And so it might be like at 1 in the morning, we get like a Canvas notification that your professor uploaded an article or whatever, and this and that. So we have to be like on demand, basically 24/7. And so that's cool and all, but at the same time, sometimes I guess he forgets, and our class is on Wednesday, and let's say that it's Thursday, it's Tuesday going on to Wednesday. He ends up posting the reading on Wednesday at 1 a.m., and then the class is like at 6 p.m., and it's like, brother. So, very situational in that aspect. I love the guy. He's funny. He's cool. I do have to set up a meeting with him because even though his identity in terms of his doctorate was on African studies or Nigerian studies. He does dabble in generative AI and technological aspects of rhetoric and composition, so I do have to talk to the guy. Over the course of the past couple days, I've been trying to find my identity when it comes to my PhD journey, what I'm going to study, what I'm going to focus on, etc., etc. And I'm not going to lie, I currently have like a document that is like, I don't even know at this point. I think it's like 20 something pages. Yeah, look at this. So it's like a document that is like 20 something pages where I'm just vomiting everything and anything that I can possibly think of. And then at some point, I want to cut that down, obviously, and then have a true identity of what I am in this program or what I want to be in this program. But it's a lot of conversation, it's a lot of work, and it's kind of annoying because it really does causes me to like crash out a little because I'm the type of person that in order to go to the next step, I want to have all the answers, and I know that in the messed up world we live in, you can't have all the answers all the time. But only because I know that and I'm smart enough to know that doesn't mean that I'm smart enough to incorporate that mentality into my perspective. So I am going through it and I am trying to venture out of it, but little by little, I guess. I don't think I'm smart enough or ethos enough or credible enough or whatever you want to call it to be like, oh, this is because I'm me. I'm going to give you advice on how to apply to a grad school program or how to apply to a PhD. I don't think I'm like hot shit, if you want to call it like that. I don't think I'm 10 out of 10 to be giving that type of advice. Uh, but uh, but I feel like I'm inclined to make those type of videos, but I'm not sure. So the one thing that I have not done is close out last week's video. So if you're new here, my name is Manuel Gonzalez. I am a PhD student in Detroit, Michigan's Wayne State University. I am in the English department with the PhD in Rhetoric and Composition, and I am specializing in science and technology with an emphasis on generative AI and post-secondary education. This channel is primarily talking about like a week in the life of a PhD student. We go through my student side, my teacher side, my human side, I guess, and we are venturing together. We are venturing in every way, shape, or form, whether I'm crashing out one day or having the best day of my life the other. You are experiencing that with me. Currently, we are experiencing trying to find my identity and trying to find how I'm going to go about it with this channel. So there's that. So if you enjoy the content, please be sure to come back. And if you are still here from the previous videos, thank you for sticking with me. I promise to be working on the channel, and hopefully we continue to do some awesome content. So just with that, I'll see you guys next week. So bye.